Hey everybody, welcome back. It's right after I said we're never gonna lose again. I think those are my exact words. I will never lose in this game again. We started to lose, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna promise you anymore. You might have thought that what I was gonna say is I'm gonna win, and then we're gonna go to the White House, and then we're gonna go to Delaware, we're gonna go to Carolina, then we're gonna go to the... No, I've learned a lesson in a different direction. Maybe the lesson is that we should not promise things that we can't. What? Excuse me. Pretty good. 15-cent kidney stone. Hold on. I'm a fool. Kidney stone is probably worth buying. It depends. Usually the first floor is where things are a little touchy. As Tainted Keeper, and I gotta just remind myself, not really you, but remind myself, we only have to do Mega Satan. The only thing that matters here is getting to Mega Satan. Keeping in mind, we could do it via an Eddie room. We're not playing as Tainted Lost. We should leave some of this money on the ground for sure. I know you're gonna be like, that's the way to play it right there. I disagree. If we get enough money, we'll see. But probably we're not gonna take Tiny Planet because I was born in night, but it wasn't last night. It's an expression my grandpa used to say. Have I told you before? You know, I have a, let's call it a stressed relationship with my with the grandparents on my mother's side, for reasons that are really not germane to the conversation here. Nothing like, you know, criminal, just kind of like distasteful. But I will say that I feel like my maternal grandfather is like the most quick-witted person I've ever met in my entire life. Anytime I find myself, you know, occasionally you come up with something in your head that you think is hilarious, but you know you can't say it because it's so offensive to the person that you're going to say it to. But still, you're so, and I mean, this is like a gimme here. You're so perversely proud of the fact that your brain was clever enough to come up with this joke/insult that you can't stop yourself from saying it. That's kind of, anytime I get something like that, I'm like, I know exactly where it came from. I remember, stop me if you've heard this one before, and you definitely have. I remember once my grandma was like, our old house had a skylight in it. Range and luck. Why not? Why not, is my 2 cents here. We just need Mega Satan. Okay. Well, I think we should leave reward money on the ground on the next floor to see if maybe we can get some angel statues. If there's an Eddie room. Anyway, there was a skylight in my old house. We lived, like, in the woods, basically, so it's not like there was a risk of somebody, you know, in a penthouse suite being like, oh, I can finally, like, you know, see into their house. But my grandma was talking about how, like, you know, she doesn't like the fact that there's a skylight in the bathroom because it makes her feel like someone could be a peeping Tom. And he said, woman, who would want to see you naked? Already off to a bad start, but you do have to admit it's a little humorous. Then she said, well, I know somebody who does. And then he said, that guy must be as crazy as I am. Just an unbelievably quick-witted, like, it's just an amazing line. Also, like, started off from an unbelievably rude position to your spouse, don't get me wrong. But I always think back on that, like, whenever I have a joke that pops into my... I mean, I don't think... Here's the thing with jokes like that. You know, I've said jokes like that to Mouth. I've said jokes like that to, you know, Apollo. I think it's okay as long as you have that, that rapport. You know, as long as you have that... You've set the foundation of, like, you know, this is a safe place for us to joke around. If you say it to a stranger, you're kind of a D-hole. Or maybe, like, extremely a D-hole. But, you know, I'm not a roast guy, like, in terms of, like, the genre of comedy. But when somebody goes over the line in insulting me in a very humorous way, I almost feel like, what the heck is this? Lil Portal. I almost feel like a like a deepened sense of friendship. I don't know if that's backwards for some people, but for me, it's like, well, the fact that you feel like, you know, we're at a place in our friendship where you can make a joke like that, almost like self-evidently makes us closer friends. But maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. By the way, I have no idea what this does. I'm trying to puzzle it out. Little portal. What exactly is it you'd say you do here? I think I'll pay for a speed upgrade. We should not have done this. I'm a fool. Let's, well, no, I was gonna say we shouldn't have done this because we might need something from the devil deal, but no, we can either get enough money to buy our boss item, or in all likelihood our boss item could just be something largely useless anyway, and then we decide we'd rather save our money. We're happy to have a speed upgrade, so we're not at 0.8 speed anymore. I mean, we're already quite strong. Okay, that actually is an item I would very much enjoy having. Owned. You know, it's... we just gotta go, basically, unfortunately. But I accept, you know, losing the stapler here is bad. In lieu of having the stapler not be part of our run in lieu of getting a speed upgrade. Not a wise decision. However, life goes on. We're lucky that, you know, the run is strong enough that it doesn't sink us. It's just kind of, you know, it's a learning lesson. There was no urgent need to buy that speed upgrade. Why are we getting so many golden chests? I was gonna remark upon it on the previous floor, but now I'm like, we can't, I don't think we can take that. Seems like we're getting a ton of them. You know, we got no Guppy's tail or anything like that. Okay, we're fine. How am I doing, by the way? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. It is a Monday now, and I know what you're thinking. NL, it's a Monday in your time. I think this video is going out on like a Thursday morning Pacific time. I know, this is pretty sick, right? Nature is healing a little bit. You know, it's a constant adjustment with the little one to find a schedule that, not just a schedule, but like an amount of output that like works for me. And I feel like I'm really starting to settle into like a pretty decent groove. I should be picking this up, but I'm scared. You know, the first step of that is the backlog's getting not. I don't want to have like a large backlog necessarily, which, you know, that's something Mouth could roast me for, just the phrasing of that exact sentence. But definitely having like a couple extra days of lead time is super nice. You know what it is like, time heals all wounds, right? I mean, first off, it's just nice to be a couple of days ahead of schedule regardless, so if something goes, you know, down, you're like, I can easily take, you know, a day off or something like that. But secondarily, it's like when you have an Isaac run where everything goes wrong, and it also has to be uploaded tomorrow to keep your schedule, it's like you die twice. Once when you died, and then once when the run goes live, right? When you have an Isaac run that was recorded, like, you know, 4 days ago and it goes live today, when people are like, I can't believe that he made this mistake, like, I laughed so hard when he did this, then you're like, you know what, you laugh along with them, because you go, that's not me, that's old me. New me would never make a mistake like that, but you know, I have a sense of humor. I'm willing to laugh at old me for doing something so silly. A dime? The dime? I did see a post, by the way, today, and this is the downside of having a backlog of any length of time. But I saw a post today that said, we few, we happy few is the worst catchphrase that's ever been generated. Please, I'm begging you to just say that you're going to become the Joker again. Well, I would say the most important thing is to figure out whether that person is in the majority or whether they're part of the few. The happy few. The band of brothers. For all men who share memes today are my brother. May they ne'er be as vile as this day, but made gentler from battle. You're gonna think I lost my mind. We have so much money though. Like, deck of cards is full stop good. I'm gonna save the rest of my money and my keys for that matter. But deck of cards is like legitimately good. And I know there's an Eddie room here. My thinking for Eddie rooms is not this floor, mostly because I wasn't planning on it to begin with, which is my own bad. But in the future, if we could save enough bombs to be able to blow up our donation machine, then we kind of have like an endless source of Eddie room access. Where we don't really even need to keep the coins on the ground for... What the heck? I missed one, but that's okay. We're still rich. Okay. Then we don't have to worry about it as much, which I think is actually, like, I think that's the play if we need to do it that way. Obviously, like, I'm hoping we don't have to do it that way. I think it would be better for us to just be able to, you know, get the angel statues from Deals with the Angel, which, you know, we got a really good chance of getting on this floor. Okay, we have unlocked Charged Penny. I think 4.5 volt should work totally fine here. Don't really care to play the Judgment. Usually, I mean, we could get mapping there. What the heck? But usually, you're gonna get HP, which is not really worth anything for us at all. I have no idea what caused those enemies to die. But what I will say is that you gotta acknowledge here, Lil Portal is much larger than it used to be, huh? What's up with that? It's one of those items. Hey, I'm not asking for, you know, a ton of credit here, but you gotta admit I have been looking up more items when I don't know what they do. A familiar is kind of a different story. Like, I'm not saying that a familiar can't be transformative, but for the most part, they all do something like in a pretty narrow set of constraints. Wonder if we should try to shoot a consumable with it, like the same way you would with GB Bug. Like, when we get an item, like, from an angel room and we don't know what it does, this is a great time to look it up, because, you know, those kind of items tend to have, like, a demonstrable impact on things. Like, what happens if we do this? Nothing. Okay. It's fine. I'm stoked to get the Steam sale, don't get me wrong. So I think, I really don't know how to feel about 4.5 volt. I understand why. Anytime you get an item that, like, transforms your ability to charge your spacebar item, especially if your spacebar item is awesome, it makes a big difference, right? Like, it changes the character of your run completely. That being said, a lot of the time when I get it, I also feel like I am getting way less charges. That's totally my bad. Don't kill me. Than I would have if I hadn't picked it up. So you can maybe see my concern there. I feel like we're getting less than 1/6 of a charge every room. Although we also did just get a charge there just for, I don't know, maybe enemies died when we walked in. And that's what charged it up. It's a little weird though. You gotta admit, Rune Bag is not a little weird. It's a little good. I don't want to go to the boss trap room. I mean, I want to get in, but I don't want to take a hit to make it happen. Just because, like, we will not... It's really tough to die as Tainted Keeper before a tough boss fight if you just, you know, don't play like an idiot, which has been a struggle for me at various... What the heck? I went through the portal, and the portal took me to the previous room. I don't know what this is doing. I don't really... I don't get it. You know what? I forgot there was a card there. Let's take a moment to look it up. Little Portal. I spelled Portal P-O-R-T-L-E, in case you're wondering where I'm at 9:22 on a Monday morning. Little Portal, Isaac. It's a passive item. Summons a portal familiar that does contact damage to enemies. It will consume all pickups and trinkets in its path, converting them into blue flies and causing the familiar to become larger and do contact damage. When it consumes 4 pickups it will summon a portal that will lead to an unexplored room, but it can't take you to the alt path it can't take you to the alt path room, the angel deal, or the devil deal. Okay. So we were right, it does suck up consumables and trinkets, and then it gets stronger. I wonder if it could get us into the either a secret room or like a curse room or something. It did take us into the secret room. Curse room would be nice as well. I mean, if I'm being honest, this seems like... Does this take us back? Okay. Am I soft locked? Nope. Just barely. If I'm being honest, this seems really bad for Tainted Keeper. Can I tell you why? You might think it would be awesome because we can create. I'm not gonna die. You can create familiars constantly, right? Or not familiars. So you can suck up the trinkets constantly, I should say. Please, money. Thank you. Which is incredible, you know. So we can the little portal can just get stronger and stronger. However, I'm not sure that it's dude. We're coming pretty close to death here. Let's just. This is what I get for saying like you only die if you're an idiot on this character. But I think we really just don't want to have little portals suck up our money because we need it to live and also to buy things, and the portal seems kind of like mega bad. Maybe I'm being a little dramatic there, but like if it can only take you to secret rooms and it can't really do anything else except do contact damage. Like if the contact damage didn't get reset so regularly, maybe, I don't know. I definitely also acknowledge I'm possibly coming at this from a position of like, oh, this requires mental overhead, so don't you know, bother me with this right now while I'm still on this wave. But I do have to say sometimes, like, people I will say I think that most people agree with me on this, at least from what I've seen in chat. But every once in a while I'll be like, you know, this is good, but the goodness that it gives to our run, yeah, we take now. It's a tiers downgrade, but I'm still, I mean, like, look at that with rubber cement. The goodness that it gives us is to some extent kind of counteracted by the amount of overhead mentally it requires. Like, there's a significant cognitive load to some items. A good example would be something like, that was mighty close. Something like Stitches, for example. When you already have two characters, like Jacob and Esau. You know, you can teleport. You can get an advantage out of teleporting. This is such a good room. Oh my god. But obviously there's also, like, an associated negative with it, which is that you're constantly... Sure. Thinking about, oh, is this a situation where we teleport with Stitches? I gotta move Stitches to make sure we can do the contact damage and blah, 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 blah. Every once in a while, there'll be a few people that are like, oh, you know, I have to think for 2 seconds. Don't make me think for 2 seconds. Like, you gotta acknowledge, right? This is a situation where, you imagine if somebody's, like, driving, you know, an 18-wheeler down the highway or something like that, and they're like, get that Rubik's Cube out of my face? Yeah, oh, don't make me do a little puzzle made 30 years ago. Oh, it's so hard to do this puzzle that kids have been doing since the 1980s. Wow, you know, it's an intellectually dishonest argument. Well, the process of what we're doing, 3,500 hours or not, is already reasonably complicated. What the heck is happening? Why my shots are forced to go in one direction right now? There we go. There's a portal for us. I mean, I don't think Scapular is gonna do it, so... And why wouldn't I use credit card there? What a wonderful question. Maybe that's for the same reason that I sometimes will find myself limiting the cognitive load. Good way to describe it. Am I, like, something's not right here. The enemies are getting stun locked. I'm getting stun locked. It's a whole thing. Don't shoot the messenger on this one. No. Okay, we should explore some more. If we hold the arrow for now, that's okay. We're looking to see if there's an eddy room, because to get a second key piece, and thus free us from the possibility that we're not going to get that second key piece, because the first one is all but guaranteed. The second one is where a little bit of variance comes in, unfortunately. But, you know, it's the same, like, sometimes you'll even just be, like, you know, driving. Someone will be having a conversation with you. Tears up, I hope. Let's go. It's a big Tears Up Heroes Medallion. Let's go. Now I see why they named you that. But you'll be driving and somebody will ask you some questions. Like sometimes even, this is virtual driving. Every now and then I'll play some Rocket League, and then Kate will hit me with some question from the kitchen that's like, you know, what's 30% of 73? And I'm like trying to drive the car. Admittedly, if I crash, it's not that big a deal because it's a video game, but I'm trying to drive the car and I'm doing like, okay, what's 3 times 73? I guess it's like 219, so, but then 30% would be like, okay, I'd be like a 21.9, but like by that point, they've already scored like 6 goals on me, right? Like, that's the way I feel about some of the items in this game. If your run's already good and you're already like playing as a character that requires a little bit of focus, then it's in your best interest to sometimes pare down the extraneous elements and just, you know, focus on hopefully getting that dub. Which is kind of where I'm at right now. I'm just, the other thing is I'm like paranoid about getting in this portal and it taking me like to something that completely ruins the run somehow. By like soft locking us. Dude, okay, Soul of Lilith, arguably one of the best souls. Which is funny because it's just an item. Like the way that these items are presented tailors my perception of them so much. For example, if a chest had showed up, not even a golden chest, but let's just say this is a hypothetical. If a regular chest showed up and Peeper's Eye popped out, I would be like, oh, it's Peeper's Eye, no big deal. Who cares? When Soul of Lilith shows up and it's Peeper's Eye, I'm like, you know, Pog, free Peeper's Eye. It doesn't make any sense. It's just the envelope in which it's wrapped. We should leave the money on the ground here in case there is a, okay, well... should leave the money on the ground here in case there is an eddy room. We shouldn't struggle to find, you know, like the 10 cents or whatever we'll need to keep on the ground to guarantee that angel statue. I don't even know what it is you do. But I will, I'll pick you up anyway, because thanks... I realize now, by the way, Steam sale is, like, incredible on Tainted Keeper. All items become half price, not just all items in the shop. That's the way, you know, when you think about it for more than a second, it's probably the way the synergy should work, but... Okay, so we're gonna credit card this shop, and it seems kind of amazing. Good item. Good item that actually could help us out a lot on late game bosses. Good item. I got nothing against it. Might as well take. And I think we might be better off rolling... I mean, the transformation is what it is. I don't even know what you do, man. I think you create the Lost for us on occasion. I'm also going to donate maybe like... I don't know, down to like 30 cents I think would be reasonable if it'll take it. 46, sure. The cards are not worth nothing, but... And that's not a double negative. Or it's not an intended double negative. You can infer the meaning. I don't know what this trinket does, but it's... I'm feeling like it's doing some decent stuff here. We do, in my opinion at least, we have to check and see if there's an eddy room, because if there is, we have kind of an obligation, I would say, to make sure we're using it right. As much as I would love to just rely on an angel statue appearing before us, and there's a chance that it probably the greater chance is that it would, to be fair. You know, I'm not going to say the run has no reason to exist if we don't manage to get to Mega Satan, but obviously it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if we managed to kind of finesse it a little better. Oh well. So this will not be a secret room. We could get a trinket there, maybe. The only thing I'm worried about here is, like, possibly dying if our, like, lost soul dies, but I don't even know what's going on with that, quite frankly. I will also say, I should be, I'm not gonna go back. Just wait for this for a second. But I should be, playing our curse room with, the spikes that we have. This is interesting. Or not really. Because we can get into and out of the curse rooms for free, but, basically, I'll just tell you straight up, I'm a dangerous combination of, like, proficient and lazy right now. I feel like we have a really strong ability to probably succeed regardless. So that means I feel justified in being lazy here. It doesn't matter really what we take, and if it doesn't matter, it matters. We can see the deal now. That's something that chat has, you know, stressed to me greatly. You can see the deal now. You just don't want to take the deal if you still want angel deals. So we still, I'm not worried yet. You know, we still do have the Eddie room. As Tainted Keeper, the Eddie room, you know, it costs the same always, so it might mean that we end up doing a little bit more of an exploratory thing on this floor than we're used to. You know, usually we'd just look at this and be like, we can get out of here ASAP, and that's it's exciting. But we did get an angel deal, and I did not get money. Because I'm stupid, basically. Okay, just... Basically, I just don't want to have to deal with those. Now, I was just going to say, I'd like to get a kidney stone just ready to go so I can just wipe you. Mission accomplished. My money, thank you. Alright, so we got our key piece. So if we got our key piece, that means we can bounce. We don't need to be here. I'll pay 7 cents for that. Alright, so now we can banter a little bit. First off, let me finish the rest of the coffee. Secondly, forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, so I find you might be like, what have you been up to lately? Well, I'm happy to report I finally finished watching Liar Liar. I don't know what's going on with my trinkets here, but this is a great teleport. I finally finished watching Liar Liar. What are my thoughts on that movie? I like it. I think it's good. And again, I've talked about this before. Depending on your age, this may resonate with you, or you may think you're built differently. And for all I know, you may well actually be built differently. But when it comes to, like, crying during media, I don't think, and we have to go down here. I genuinely, I remember crying when I saw The Lion King in theaters, which I think was in, like, 1994. I would have been, like, 5.5 years old. I don't think I cried again at a movie. I remember I saw Big Fish when I was, like, 16. I saw it in theaters with my mom. And, you know, it's an emotional movie for sure. And I remember being like, this is the first time I really feel like I could cry when watching a movie in, like, you know, over a decade at that point, basically. But I held it in, because I was like, I don't know, it's on Becoming of a Young Man or something like that, to be affected emotionally by something designed to affect you emotionally. But as I've gotten older and older, and to be honest with you, really, like, I think it's more like when you're a teenager, like, depends on what you do, but, like, I grew up in a highly, you know, detached, cynical South Park age, right? Where, like, being vulnerable and genuine was kind of a... You know, it was uncool. The only thing that was cool was having a sense of, like, ironic detachment from just about everything important. And I think part of that is, you know, the stage you're at in your life at that age, maybe. Not to say, like, no teenagers have real-world stresses and problems, because I don't believe that's true at all. But it was for me. And also, like, you know, it's a little bit of a vestige of maybe the era in which I grew up in, but... Especially as I've gotten older and, you know, I've become much more susceptible. Like, even movies that are really not designed to be sad. Liar Liar is like... I just would like to shoot kidney stone, please. Thank you. Liar Liar is not a sad movie, but like by the end of it, if I hadn't been like playing Rocket League on my other monitor, I think I definitely would have been in tears. And it's like Jim Carrey. Not to, like, I really like, you know, some of Jim Carrey's dramatic roles, and by some, I mean two. The Truman Show and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. But, like, you know, 90s Jim Carrey, he's a bit of an overactor, right? It's a bit melodramatic. We can just pay for these? Oh, man, this is a dream. One moment. One moment, please. This is top tier. And we're gonna pop Alga's, but I don't think we should pop it until we lose our first bit of HP. So we should endeavor to make that last as long as possible, without a doubt. Anyway, so yeah, like I think I've actually pretty much reached a point in my life where I could find a reason, I think, to cry at any movie. And you might find yourself, you know, jumping to the knee-jerk reaction of like telling me that's okay. No, it's like it's better than okay. I think it's like it's healthy. You know, it means, you know, I can relate to these human stories. Is it a little embarrassing? I mean, I don't know, maybe. But I'm not embarrassed by it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be telling you. That almost got me. Yeah, because we all know I've shied away from telling embarrassing stories in these videos. But I'm just interested to know if that's something that other people are experiencing as they age as well. Is like, you know, a stronger emotional connection to fiction. When you're a kid, I don't know, it's like you just don't think about it as much, but... When I was watching Liar Liar, I was like, yo, this dude's wife is gonna, like, move to Boston with his kid. He's, like, never gonna see his kid again. And the worst part is, like, he totally deserves it. And then at the end, you know, he's like, I realized, like, you know, if I wanted to play with you and hold you and lift you up, I wouldn't be able to, and I don't think I'm gonna deal well with that. I was like, man, this guy's gonna get the waterworks starting here. Okay, now we pop it. So, in conclusion, my review of Liar Liar from 1999, the most emotionally affecting movie of our times. Jim Carrey finally has a dramatic role, although, you know, okay, it's not really a dramatic role, I'm being facetious, of course. When he's in the bathroom beating himself up. What the hell are you doing? I'm kicking my ass. Do you mind? It's good stuff. It's just a funny... Dude, I think that... I can't believe people aren't talking more about Liar Liar. Like, let's be honest. The central premise is a little bit ridiculous, but it's got an emotional core in the right spot. Alright, Tainted Keeper. I think we played a totally decent run, and would you look at that? Tainted Keeper's posted, just like Tainted Apollyon, completely filled up. Well, for now, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. I'm live every day on Twitch except Saturday and Sunday. It's really increasingly just getting to be less of the week, but also we've regressed to a normal week, I guess, at this point. Thanks for watching, and follow me over there as well. I'll see you next time. See you.